Hello students, today we will study about how to raise dairy cows. Okay students, if you are going to raise a dairy cows, you must choose a black and white dairy cow or a Holstein Friesian. Another one, you must have a closed farm facility and also an open farm facility, and you must also have a grass, legumes, straw, and corn plants. Questions. Number 1. What is the picture about? It is about how to raise dairy cows. Number 2. What breeds of dairy cows are popular for raising? It is black and white or Holstein Friesian varieties. Basic dairy farming. The start of dairy farming in Thailand started more than 90 years ago. The Indian guests are the ones who raise and import Indian native cattle to raise. But the milk in those days was very little, about 2 to 3 liters per day, and later cattle were brought from Europe. Cows were bred milk cows to be fed and popularized later. At the Department of Livestock Development and the Ministry of Agriculture and cooperatives brought cows. Red Sandy varieties from India and Bangladesh came in and later brought the cattle Jersey bred from Australia and Swiss brown cattle from America. Okay, students, you are going to watch this video. And now, students, here are some questions from the video that you are watching. Question number 1. What do you think is the best selection of cow breeds to choose? Number 2. How many methods do you think about choosing a dairy cow to raise? Number 3. What do you think dairy cows eat? Number 4. What do you think the area for raising dairy cows looks like? Number 5. What kind of climate do you think is suitable for raising dairy cows? Dairy farming should know about dairy cattle, which can be divided into two main categories. Number 1. Dairy cows that are native to the tropics, such as Red Sindhi Sahiwal, etc., will notice that these dairy cows have a large back hump and tolerate hot weather well, but not much milk. Number 2. Dairy cattle that originated in the cold region are known as. There are many varieties of European dairy cows. It is easy to notice that there is no protrusion on the back, is to say the spine street usually does not tolerate hot weather. The main varieties are the black and white or Holstein Friesian for Thailand, which is a tropical country raising purebred Holstein dairy cows, is often very problematic if poorly managed. Therefore, farmers should raise hybrids between Holstein and native cattle, or cattle that are born in other tropical breeds, with the Holstein dairy cow pedigree between 50 to 75%, which hybrids at this blood level will yield an average milk yield of about 1,800 to 2,200 kg per year. The start of dairy farmer raising. It is important to keep in mind that capital, location, market, and other factors are included herein. Focusing only on operating capital. Such capital may be divided into five items. Number one, capital for the purchase of cattle. Number two, capital for building houses or stables. Number three, funds for the preparation of grass plots. Number four, funds for water supply or irrigation. Number five, the last number, guaranteed capital, which means working capital such as food expenses or various labor costs, etc. Food and feeding. Food and feeding dairy cows are four-stomach animals, also known as ruminant. There are two types of feed used for this type of animal husbandry. Coarse feed such as grass, beans, fodder, rice straw, and concentrated feed such as mixed feed. In feeding dairy cows, both types of food are equally important and must be related together in order to make a dairy cow can provide maximum milk according to the ability of each cow to express. There are many forms of raising dairy cows, depending on many factors such as geography, weather conditions, the cost of farmers, etc. But the popular culture nowadays can be divided into three forms: raising in the grass plot, free range, raising in the yard or in the pen, and a freestanding banquet. Each type of raising has its advantages and disadvantages, and the suitability is different as follows. Number one, free farming in the grass plot or open farm. The raising of cows in the grass field is to allow the cows to feed themselves freely in the grass field, which is the natural grass plot or a grass plot that is planted to prepare for cows, especially for free-range cattle raising. This gives the cows the most freedom and are most familiar with the climate in natural conditions, but the weather must not be too hot or too much rain. In raising cattle in the grass plot, it takes a lot of space to meet the needs of the cattle. Generally, it takes about 5 to 6 rides per one dairy cow, and grass plots must be maintained at all times so that the grass plots are not too shabby and should create a place for cows to hide from the sun as well so that the cows can rest in the shade. Number 2, free farming in the yard or in the pen or closed farm. Free range grazing in the yard or in the pen, the cattle will live only in the stall, which this stall will be made into a courtyard for cattle to walk and exercise without stressing the cattle. But the freedom is more limited than the first method. And the obvious difference is food that means it's a plus because all the food that shepherd will provide. How much a cow can eat depends solely on the owner. And most of the food is usually of good quality. The obvious advantage of this method is that amount of milk obtained will be more than the raising of the grass because the food that is eaten does not waste energy used to find food, and the farmer can also control the amount of food that has high nutritional value for cows to eat easily because cattle will not have the right to choose food and easy to control parasites. Number 3, freestanding farming or closed farm. Freestanding grazing in this shed, cattle are treated as closely as possible. Management such as parasitic disease, prevention, and control will be able to fully feeding can be done according to the schedule and requirements of the cattle. It produces the most milk in these three methods, especially suitable for cattle with high lactation capacity, and is a method that is suitable for areas with inclement weather because it can control various factors very well raising cattle like this. The feeder is held in place, known as song, which takes up minimal space as it does not waste energy on walking. In order to increase the milk yield of cows, this type of raising will use an area of 3 to 4 square meters per one cow. Even the most efficient way, but there are limitations as well. That is in terms of investment due to the construction of a standard greenhouse which will have to invest a lot first and will have to pay the most for food, including having to clean the house regularly every day. This means that it will also require the most labor. This is the added cost, but if managed well, the return is considered to be the most rewarding among the three formats mentioned above. The climate is suitable for raising dairy cows. The ambient air temperature in which the cow is comfortable is 20 to 25 degrees Celsius. During this temperature range, the normal metabolic processes and energy expenditure in the body are carried out, despite the heat generated by the metabolism and energy consumption. When the body temperature is different from the outside temperature, the body is not stressed because of cooling. Solution. There are both long-term solutions and short-term solutions. and urgently solving immediate problems, the short-term solution is to provide colors or cool the air around the cow, which can be done in a number of ways, such as providing shade, using a fan with a water sprayer, or providing cold water for drinking, etc. The long-term solution to the problem is to select male cows in different seasons, which are not different. Our complete will breed as a breeder will get new species that are suitable for tropical climates. It's a time-consuming, fixed but permanent and costless. Questions. Number 1. What do dairy cows eat? Dairy cows eat grass, legumes, rice straw, and corn plants. Number 2. What type of weather and raising area must be? The weather is about 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, open farm and closed farm facility. And today, students, we will have an activity. You are going to write in your notebook how to raise dairy cows. After you finish writing, you can pass your activity in your Google Classroom. And that's all for today, students. Thank you and goodbye.